What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the shit show. So, the Amazon Santa Claus man came. We have a serpentine belt that supposedly will fit our unique setup. So we're gonna try this out. Hopefully it works, so I can pass the good info over to y'all. I saw this stuff on Amazon, figured I'd pick it up. Might as well. It's like heat sleeving. It's good to like 1200 something degrees Fahrenheit, but it's Velcro, so it wraps around and then, you know, covers some stuff. Planning on using this on the brake lines down there, slash the little banjos if I can somehow make that work. And I'll probably use a little bit on this oil feed line right here as well. And if we have any extra, I'm gonna just put it anywhere where might be a little worried about heat. So there's that. I saw this Gates part number on the Facebook page, and supposedly this is like a cheap upper radiator hose option, so I picked it up just in case. I also have over here a Mishimoto upper radiator hose that I think was my old one back when the car was supercharged. So we have this as well. I think I already tried this. This didn't work too great, and that's simply because of the angle that the Track Tough little thing comes out at. It's not the same as stock, so normal upper radiator hoses aren't going to fit quite as well. It makes them kink up in here, which is unfortunate, but I already tried the Gates one, this little cheap like $12 hose on, and it fit kind of okay. Like definitely good enough to where to work, but definitely not the prettiest. But hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So probably gonna throw that stuff on. I think first we're gonna do the serpentine belt because I'm super curious as to if this is gonna fit or not. So, all right, great news. A couple snap wrenches later, serpentine belt is on, it fits. It's just a little bit loose, so like the tensioner only really moves like maybe half an inch, so that's kind of concerning a little bit. You'd think it would want to come back a little bit more, so it has plenty of so if the belt stretches out over time, you don't have to worry about it getting loose. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the part number. It is 5070663, and that is the Dayco number. If you just Google this number with serpentine belt, it'll come up. I think it was like $20 on Amazon. So super happy about that. That's one less headache kind of out of the way. So yeah, everything's tight. So pretty excited about that. One step closer to starting it up. Hopefully we can start it up pretty much after we get the subframe back installed, because I don't want to start the car while the axles and the rotors and stuff are kind of hanging back here, because they do spin while the car's moving. Man, it's starting to get rusty from sitting. But yeah, it's the diagram in case you guys are too lazy to look it up. Super easy. So whew, on to the next thing. All right, next on the to-do list, I got this old crusty Mishimoto lower radiator hose. It's covered in dried coolant, and it's like burned into it, so I can't get it off, which is pretty ugly. I don't know, it bothers me. But we have the Skunk 2 one laying around that's brand new, so I'm just gonna throw this one in. It's next on the to-do list. After I do this, we're gonna go ahead and do the turbo hardware. I just pulled the turbo off so that we could do that, and then that way we can mount the turbo with all four, hopefully. That'd be pretty nice. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this on, and then next clip you'll just see me cut stuff. All right, got the Skunk 2 lower radiator hose on, and I also installed the upper radiator hose. So this is a Gates hose. Here's the part number if you guys are interested in using it. Super cheap. It's Gates. Gates is a pretty good company, so it works. This isn't actually the line kinking. This is like actually a bulge of rubber, so that's just how it's made. But there's no kinks anywhere in it, and it is a little bit more out of the way of the throttle body, which is good. That's what we want for the intercooler piping. But yeah, if need be, I can always come back here and trim this, and then this will kind of bring the whole hose this way more if I wanted to like cut it up here, so I could get more push the whole thing over. Sorry, I'm not making any sense right now, but here's the part number again. It's just 21229. And it's for like a Mazda 6, I think. It's like a radiator hose for like a Mazda 6 or a Mazda something. just so you guys aren't confused, and so that you know that you got the right part. So just to kind of give you an idea of what we're having to do, these nuts, the little lip that extends past the actual nut itself is a little bit too wide to fit 3 out of the 4 holes. So this one fits fine unmodified. This washer I've already kind of sanded down. You can see that. And so now I'm trying to make these nuts fit. So here's one. Just kind of waiting for it to cool down so I can test fit it now. But yeah, basically just gonna repeat this process all the way around and show you how it comes out. All right, a couple busted knuckles later, all 4 are on. They're all pretty tight. These top 2 are just a smidge tighter than this one. I can't get this one all the way tight because there's just this bolt in the way. I can't get anything on there if I try to come at it with a box wrench. The housing blocks it from like getting anywhere on there. The compressor housing blocks it. It's just an absolute pain in the ass. But overall it's pretty tight. I'm not too worried about it. Doesn't move anywhere. I think it's on there tight enough, especially for now since the car's not even gonna be running. Hopefully maybe in a week or so we can actually turn it over and hear it. I think we might be able to do that. The other thing we needed that's stopping us is the subframe, and I think I've already mentioned that, so that should be coming pretty soon. But yeah, still waiting on some parts to come in before we can start as well. I ordered the OEM hose that comes from the thermostat housing there up to the track tough piece right here. So I'm waiting for that to come in. That's the only thing that's still open on the cooling system. So, all right. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take a quick break. As you can see, CRV is all clean. Really needed to be scrubbed. Kind of like how this garage is an absolute wreck right now. I really got to go through and organize the garage, but I think I'm going to save that for this weekend, which is probably about the time you guys will actually see this video. I think this weekend, all the little things that we did, like the belt, radiator hose and all that stuff and the hardware, was so that we could finally throw the subframe back in the car. And once we have that back in the car, we can actually roll the car around, move it if we need to, which is important because what it's looking like is gonna happen is we're probably gonna have to have my fabricator make us a downpipe and a wastegate dump tube, unfortunately. I wish it didn't have to be custom like that, but I believe it's the PRL downpipe that I have. It's actually down there if you see that. Doesn't quite line up right in a couple places. In fact, in most places. So we can use it, but we're gonna have to like cut it up and like, you know, modify it. And as you can see, we don't really have a welder here, unfortunately. It's definitely one of the things we need to learn how to do eventually so we can stop spending all this money on labor. But yeah, other than that, like this thing is almost ready to go. Just needs really small things like vacuum line and just small odds and ends that still need to be done. But anyways, I'll catch you guys this weekend. For you, it will be in about 3 seconds from now. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Well, it's the next clip. Last time we filmed was probably a couple days ago, something like that. Got a package here from Honda Parts now, so we're gonna take a look inside and install the little bits and pieces we got. And yeah, super exciting. Still kind of trying to figure out what we want to do for the downpipe and stuff. But in this video, we should be putting the subframe back in, which means we can lower the car and it can finally sit on its own 2 wheels again. And then can move it around and stuff because I'd like to push it back just a little bit. But yeah, it needs to have the subframe in so that way we can see how much clearance we have for a downpipe, and that will make it a lot easier. Right now, the plan is to kind of probably buy a cheap Harbor Freight welder. It's stupid, but we kind of need one. I don't want to take the whole car to fabrication. It'll take a long time. It'll probably sit in the sun, and my clear coat's already getting pretty bad on the roof. So I don't want it to sit outside for a couple months. That'd be pretty bad for it, at least until I can at least like wash it and re-wax it and all that. So But in the event we do have to take it to fab, which is like last resort, obviously the car's got to be able to roll around. So subframe's got to go back in no matter what. But yeah, maybe we'll get that done today, maybe not. Either ways, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna open this box. All right, so here's everything opened up. I noticed that my idler pulley, or not my idler pulley, I'm sorry, that's already been replaced. The tensioner pulley makes some scraping noises because the bearing's going bad. So instead of buying the whole new assembly, which some people do, it's kind of expensive. It's like over $100. It's got the bearing itself, and then the little black cap that goes over it goes something like that, I believe. Something like that. I'll know when I pull the old one off. We got the coolant hose for underneath the intake manifold, which is great. So that means we can finally seal up the coolant system and add coolant. And then the last little piece is just something that I've wanted for a while. It's a new fuse box cover. Oh, look at that. It actually comes with fuses in there. That's cool. Mine is all crusty and disgusting because somebody spray painted it. Where's it at? Here's my old one. See, somebody at some point painted it red because they thought it would look good, I guess. It actually just looks like shit, looks like trash. So finally throw this away after I pull out those free fuses, and yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on because I think that's gonna make the bay look a lot better. I meant to get a new fuse box cover too because this one's pretty grungy, but totally forgot. So I'll just get it next time around whenever I go to buy more parts off Honda. So yeah. Oh yeah, it looks a million times better. Even with this disgusting old ECU cover there. I'm gonna get a new one of these eventually too. It'll match that probably, but yeah, that looks a lot better. Looks a lot better than having this sit there. Makes the car look a little less disgusting, which is awesome. So yeah, next, underneath intake manifold coolant hose, I'm gonna have to find some clamps, and then I'll throw this in. All right, let's see if I can get you guys in there. So hose clamp there, comes up, clamps to our track tough piece, and it clamps beautifully. One thing I noticed was the old hose that was on there was a little K-tuned hose. It was too big. I don't remember it being too big when I first installed it. So I think what happened was over time, the heat kind of messed with the material and made it expand. So this is like a lot bigger than the OEM one is, which caused a slight coolant leak on the old piece that used to be here. I could see like the crusted up coolant over here, so hopefully this OEM hose fixes that. This is why I like to do as much OEM stuff as possible when it comes to things like hoses or even like starters and stuff like, you know, bearings and stuff. It's just always good practice, and I've had really good luck with OEM things. So yeah, it's one down. Next, the last thing we got to do is the tensioner pulley right here. So I'll go ahead and loosen this belt off. All right, so I got the belt zip tied off to the side just so it doesn't get too messed up down there. And then this is a 14 mil bolt, I believe. So I'm gonna knock that off, pull the pulley off, and then we'll go from there. So here's the old one. I technically bought the wrong one, so I bought the K20Z3 one, and this must be from the K24 or maybe another K20 variant, because these are not the same. The one I just put in is a little bit wider than this, but the diameter is the exact same. So I went ahead and installed it. It's not going to hit anything, so it'll be fine. It's just something to look out for. Make sure you get the right parts. This is also the old one. So when I was pulling this out, the nut that's on the back side actually fell out and ended up lodged in my AC compressor. So that was a, you know, that was a very fun time getting that out. A multitude of pliers and stuff to remove it. Anyways, I got it back in its little spot. So just be careful when you're pulling these off. There is a nut back there. I thought it would just be tapped into the aluminum. I was wrong. Honda has a separate nut for it. That nut is loose. So anyways, when I rotate it, no more grinding noises, so that's good. One more little issue that's been there for a while is now fixed. The only thing left to do is to tighten this bolt and put the serpentine belt back on. So I'm gonna do that right quick, and we'll see how it looks once it's tight. It's now on. We move the belt out of the way. Doesn't make any sound, which in comparison, so it still spins fine and everything. It just makes that noise pretty softly. I don't even know if the camera picked it up, but I can definitely hear it when the car is running. So I'm glad that that will no longer be an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt back on, make sure it's still good and everything. And then yeah, we'll move on to bigger and better things. Okay, so now that that coolant hose is in down there, I finally can put this support piece back in the car. It's been sitting over here all dusty and crusty. So that can go back in. And that also means the hood latch can go back. And yeah, so that's cool. It's really coming together now, starting to look like a full car. The only things I really need to buy before we can start it is oil and transmission fluid, which I plan on doing next week. So it's coming close, boys. It's coming close. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the sport part back on, and that way we can kind of see what it looks like. All right, it's on. No bolts are in yet. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Took a while. I had to remove this clamp because it was hitting the top here, and this one was as well. So I had to kind of adjust that to kind of get it all sitting flush. All right, here it is. Crash bar's fully in. Still gonna do the latch, but yeah, it's looking really good. Super excited for this. I forgot to mention this tee. I got it in the mail. Bought it off eBay. It's a little brass tee that's 1/8 MPT, which is what this threading is, and then it's a barb. I had to cut the barb because the barb that it came with was like this long, and obviously I couldn't tighten it onto the turbo, so I had to take an angle grinder and cut it. But I left one little barb on there, so hopefully this holds up to all the boost we'll be pushing, which really won't be that much. Should only be around 10 to 15 pounds. So I think that'll hold up just fine. Still need to find a mounting location for the mag valve, but I do need to run to AutoZone and get some tees so that we can finish up the plumbing of that, because it's pretty much done. Just need to wire it now. This downpipe thing might take a while. So if I stop uploading for a while, or if uploads are slow, that's why. It's probably gonna take some time to kind of figure out what I'm gonna do about this downpipe. So bear with me, and I appreciate you guys subscribing, liking, and commenting. So yeah, next thing you should see is just throwing this bad boy in. What's up, everyone? I'm back. Last clip was probably a week ago. I can't remember what exactly was filmed. I've been super busy with work, and we've been kind of trying to figure out what we're gonna do for this car in terms of the exhaust and the intercooler piping, but we've found a solution. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it all out for you guys, and then I'll explain what the next video is going to be. So kind of figured it out. Me and my fabricator have been going back and forth about pricing and how we want to do it, and we've kind of reached an agreement. So he's already ordered the metal that he needs, so we're not going to be using these. So I'll probably sell these and get some of my money back, because these are still like brand new. The only reason this is out is because the MAF sensor has the little port there, and I want to have the MAF on the new intercooler piping, so that way, let me throw that back. So that way we can still plug in this connector here, and then it doesn't just kind of just sit somewhere flopping around, you know. I just think it would look better. So I'm gonna give him this, and I might give him these two. If he can use them, go for it. But the reasoning behind doing custom is, you see how wide this pipe is compared to the actual V-band flange here. So even with this pipe being this wide, it still gives us a little bit of room from the brake lines. But imagine if the actual downpipe was just as wide as the flange, instead of kind of flaring out right here, we'd have a lot more room. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to do pie cuts to make the bend tighter, and then that will get us further away from the brake lines, which is always better. Always want to be as far away from those as possible. We'll probably have to cut this flange off to use it. And if he really wanted to, he could reuse this O2 bung, because I am going to need 2 O2 bungs in the new kind of downpipe slash mid pipe. 102 sensor is here. The other one is below the car, sitting on the tire back there, because I didn't unplug it. It's just sitting there. So I need 2 O2 ports One's for the AFR, which I believe is this one. The other's for the actual car itself, the ECU. So yeah, all in all, obviously I'm writing down how much everything is going to cost me. So I know I've mentioned this before, but I will be very upfront and open with you guys once we're finished with the entire thing about how much everything has cost. And so that way you guys can kind of see a gauge for if you want to do something similar. Because, you know, everyone on the internet's always like, $3 grand and you can boost a Honda and run 10s. It's easy, it's so cheap. And then when you actually go to build something like this, you realize that there's a lot of little things, and they add up, and it ends up being an absolute metric shit ton of money, no matter if you're on a budget or not. Like, so this was supposed to be budget friendly, but obviously it kind of evolved into not so budget friendly. But I think the end result will be worth it, and I hope you guys are as excited about it as I am. But yeah, I'm just here to clean up the garage a little bit, and I'm gonna go wash the daily, and then that'll pretty much be it for me here today. Dean is out of town and I need his help with the subframe, so he comes back late tonight. So sometime this upcoming weekend, we'll get the subframe back in, and then comes the fun part of figuring out how we're gonna get the car to the fabricator. Luckily, he's not that far, but it's still gonna be kind of a conundrum because we're gonna have to get it onto a trailer. And I don't know if, I mean, we'll start it up for sure, but I don't know if I'm gonna be comfortable driving it up onto a trailer if it's running lean. So, which it definitely will be. The tune's gonna be all sorts of messed up. I'll let it idle all day, but it's one thing to let a car idle that's untuned. It's another to actually drive it. If it's too lean, I'll break something for sure. So, and next video, I know I said we were probably gonna try to do it this video, but it's already been too long since I've uploaded, so I wanna get you guys out some content. Next video will be all about putting the subframe back in. We'll go over how we reline the steering rack shaft with the actual steering column, and we'll mount everything up. Hopefully we won't have too much stuff left over, too many bolts left over that we don't know where they go to. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry if it was kind of all over the place. Definitely is, but we'll be back. Next video will definitely be a banger. That reminds me, I have a big announcement to make. Well, I'm not gonna announce it this video, but just know, next one, we have a pretty big announcement. Super cool, pretty happy about it, which is crazy. We only have like 30 subscribers, so, but hey, always room for improvement and growth. But you guys will learn all about that next video, so just stick around. And yeah, peace out. See you guys in a week.